I have a fantasy football team, and one of the things that causes me crippling self-doubt every day is whether or not I've made the right choice and whether I've picked the right team. So I wondered if I can use some software development and a little bit of maths to help me and your fantasy football team. So for those of you that don't know, what is FPL? FPL is where people pick Premier League footballers and they create a team of 15 players. They have a £100 million budget. You need 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 forwards. You get 1 transfer each week and 1 captain each week. As you can see, my team are the Bamford Cortinas, and one of the things that causes me instant regret every week is picking my captain. So I wouldn't be able to model all of the potential choices that we could make in an evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify the problem. So I'm only going to focus on my captaincy choice. Captaincy choice is very important because each week you select one person to be a captain and they can earn you twice as many points. So what I did was I generated a list of 20 captains from the previous Premier League season, and I got the most valuable players. So what most people do is they pick 3 to 5 players in each team because there is a budget, so you can't have a team of all-stars. And I thought I would stick with those as my potential captaincy choices for the entire of the season. So when it comes to choosing your captain, there are a few options out there. You can set who your captain is at the start and forget about it and never change it again. You could, if you're not reading into any statistics or just going off gut, you could pick randomly. You could have a look at the player's form. And for the purposes of this, form is the amount of points they've scored in the past 5 games. And you could look at the fixture that they're playing in and say, is this an easy fixture or is it a difficult fixture? Now for us, the Fantasy Premier League provides us with what they call a fixture difficulty rating, which is a number 1 to 5. So if it's important enough to put on their website, I figured it was good enough for a metric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a pool of between 3 and 5 potential captains from the ones that we showed here. And then I'm going to loop through each game week and I'm going to pick a captain for the week based on one of these 4 models. And then I'm going to sum the points over the course of the season that they would have scored. And then I'm going to do that 10,000 times. And what that's going to do is it's going to get me some data that's going to show potentially which of these methods is the best or the most efficient to help me make my decision. So what I did was I plugged this information after I created a couple of algorithms to decide by fixture and by form and randomly. And then I plugged this into to Jupyter Notes, which is run using Python to create some box charts for using Python's Pandas API. And what this shows is on the boxes, that shows where 50% of our individual performances lie, and then the whiskers are where the rest of them lie. Those circles that you can see are outliers, so they fall outside of a particular range, so it's particularly unusual that they are in there, so they're mapped differently. And what we can see is that if we set and forget, then there's a much broader range in that 50%. Between 25 and 75. And the median, which is that green line, is significantly lower than the entire range. So if I just pick my captain at the start of the season, I would likely fall in that green line, somewhere around there, certainly within that box. If I pick my captain at random each week from my pool, then we can see that the 25 to 50% range is significantly smaller. So I'm much more likely to hit inside that range, but there's significantly more outliers. The green line's also slightly higher, which means that on average, you're probably going to be better picking randomly than you are from one at the start of the season and then moving on. But if we look at the fixture, what my algorithm did was it went through my list of captaincy candidates and it looked at all of their fixtures. And if they all had the same fixture difficulty rating, it would pick one of those at random, based on whoever had the easiest game. The average is significantly higher, and the results are just much closer together. If you look at the bottom line on the graph as well, even at worst, we're doing better than both set and forget and random altogether. If we have a look at form, those boxes are really similar. Okay, slightly higher median, much more consistent in terms of the results because the whiskers are significantly shorter. So what I should probably do is think about maybe doing a combination of those things. Yeah, so that's what I did. So I looked at this final one, says pick by fixture, yeah, because that was the smallest range, and then by form. So rather than picking randomly, see which player is arguably playing best and go from there. So the results again, higher, and this represents an extra 350, 370 points per season, which is something not to be sniffed at. So, who should I pick for the Bamford Cortinas this week? Now, you won't be able, the numbers are quite small, but my premium players are Lukaku, Salah, and Alexander-Arnold, but he's injured. Maybe Antonio. If we look at their fixture difficulties, Lukaku is playing Brentford, Antonio is playing Brentford, Lukaku is playing Southampton. So those fixtures are very similar. And then if we look at their forms, we can see that Lukaku is putting out significantly better numbers, hitting 5.7 points per game. So I should probably pick Lukaku. Now, the models that I've created today aren't showing all of the data. There's lots of things going on at the same time. Chances of injuries, things like that we don't show. Should we substitute out players based on whether their form is particularly low, all of those kind of things. But the results do we can see that using a little bit of maths and statistics, I can farm out some of that decision making, some of that instant regret, and follow a set procedure, have a look at the fixtures, then have a look at the form, and hopefully by the end of the season, the Bamford Cortinas will be at the top of the league. That's it. Thank you very much. Hopefully you found that interesting. I know that any FPL managers out there will be furiously looking at the statistics and trying to find out what they're going to pick this week. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.